Oh, hey, sorry about that. Oh, spinny chair. Guys, it is Terri Hendrix week here on the Boston Chris podcast. Oh, it has been almost 10 years that we started podcasting, and Terri Hendrix has always been on my wish list, and it finally happened today. And I cannot be more proud of this episode and everything that comes with it. Let me tell you a little bit about Terri. Terri Hendrix, recognized by Acoustic Guitar Magazine as one of Texas's 20 essential contemporary singer-songwriters, has garnered a global fan base for her unique blend of folk, pop, country, blues, and jazz. Her music is characterized by poetic grace, melodic flair, and a generous dose of wit and wisdom. Notably, she co-wrote the Grammy-winning instrumental Lil Jack Slade for the Chicks and has received numerous accolades, including a star on the South Texas Music Walk of Fame, the Art of Peace Award from St. Mary's University, and the Distinguished Alumni Award from Hardin-Simmons University. Additionally, she has been crowned Mermaid Queen, been honored with a SMART Award for Artistic Excellence, was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, and won a Lifetime Achievement Award for her contributions to the arts in San Marcos, Texas. Her master recordings and archives are housed at the prestigious Whitliff Collections at the Texas State University. Embodying Texas independent spirit, this classically trained vocalist and guitar, mandolin, and harmonica player has remained fiercely independent, releasing every single album since her 1996 debut on her own Wilory Records label, pioneering a fan financing model which predated the advent of crowdfunding. Beyond her musical achievements, Terri Hendrix is a passionate advocate for individuals with disabilities, drawing from her own experiences with Chiari malformation, epilepsy, spasmodic dysphonia, and her essential vocal tremor. She deeply understands the impact of medical conditions on quality of life and believes in the transformative power of the arts to uplift the human spirit. In addition to her public performances, she dedicates herself to helping individuals with special needs write their own songs and stories. She accomplishes this through her involvement with the Texas Commission on the Arts and her own nonprofit organization, Own Your Own Universe, which she established in 2012. Terri Hendrix is honored and excited to have received a Lifetime Achievement Award for her contributions to the San Marcos, Texas music scene. And we are excited and honored to have Miss Terri Hendrix here on the Boston Chris podcast for the very first time ever. Please, guys, hit the like button for this episode. Let's get it into more eyes and ears. And as always, if you want to hear or see more candid conversations like this one right here, hit that subscribe or follow button and comment down below where you are watching from today. And without further ado, we're going to get into it with the Queen of Texas Folk, the one and only Terri Hendrix.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hey, this is Jamie Richards. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Boston Chris
Let's
Show.
do it.
Guys, it is Terri Hendrix week here on the Boston Chris podcast. And I got to tell you, Terri, I've been just a huge fan of your work for a long time. So this is a big moment for me to chat with you today and kind of learn about you a little bit more. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, other than it being rainy and miserable outside and up here in East Texas. You're in Central Texas, right?
I am.
So
Yeah.
are you in Martindale right now? Is that what I read?
Yeah, I have a little ranch in Martindale, 12 acres, and that's where I live, and that's where I run my businesses.
Very cool. And man, I'll tell you what, Terry is she's just got so many irons in the fire, and all of them are very cool irons as well. But let's she's gonna let us show a couple of songs here today. And the first one I wanted to talk about is I Found the Lions. We found an old live version of this from about 10 years ago with you and Lloyd. Can you tell us about
Oh,
this song?
wow. Yeah, okay, so, we were teaching this workshop, it was way back in 2003, back in the age of dinosaurs, and, or maybe even a couple of years before that, but there was a woman that came there, and, with one intention, and that was to get on every nerve in my body, and so I was so happy when the workshop came to a conclusion and I would know that, hey, I'm not gonna have to be in her presence anymore. So I wrote I Found the Lions. Just the lyrics kinda came to me about just kind of, about maintaining grace and dignity when you're confronted by a bully. And so that's what the song's about. And then Lloyd came up with that riff on, papoose. That's what he's playing in the video is a
Yeah.
papoose. And so he came up with the riff for that. So,
It's just an
yeah.
incredible song. Out of all the ones that you have, this is the one I wanted to show just to kick off the episode. Because yeah, man, bullies should never win, and that's basically what the song is
No.
about. And so we're excited to show this live version of "I Found the Lines" by Terri Hendrix. Y'all check it out.
I found the lions. I escaped the jaws. I kept a few of the teeth. I let them keep their claws. I found the lions. Or maybe they found me. Could have been bad luck. Could have been my destiny. I played dead. My pulse was too loud. Hyenas giggled. The lions formed a crowd. I played dead. The buzzards in the tree waited for the lions to make a meal out of me. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Swim through the ocean, fish in the sea. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you will find me. I found the lions, I fell into their lair. No one was there to help me, no one was there to care. I found the lions, or maybe they found me. When you stumble in the jungle, it's all a mystery. I played dead, they tossed me around. I kept one eye on the buzzards and the other on the ground. I played dead, my blood turned thin. Hyenas giggled, the lions came and I said, don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you stick around now. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you will find me. Me. You will find me. Out of me, you'll get a little grub, a little bit of skin and a bone for the cub. No monkey, no beast, dinner, no feast, blood of blood to say the least. Out of me, you'll come to find I'm the king, you'll stay to mind. Out of me, you'll get what you will come to regret. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you're gonna find, gonna find. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you're gonna find, gonna find. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you will find me. Don't mess with the mighty, mighty jungle. Where you find the lions, you will find me. Well, 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 me. Me. You will find me.
right, so we are back once again, and we try to find the genesis story of every creative person here on the show, and Terri is no different. And your journey kind of begins in the San Antonio area, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in San Antonio, and then but I went off to study music to Abilene on a music scholarship, and then transferred from Abilene to San Marcos, where I was in what they call the class of 1980 something, 88 or 80. Well, there's a name for it, but I was in the same group with Todd Snyder, Bruce Robeson, me, this guy Al Barlow. It was a really incredibly creative time to be in that group. John Arthur Martinez was in that group.
Wow.
There was about five of us.
Talk about an all-star
And
team, huh?
it was really cool. That was, I mean, I think about it. Had I stuck out my degree and not left Hardin-Simmons in Abilene, man, I would have missed it. And had I not met those group of musicians when I met them, I don't know if I would have had the guts to do this for my living. They were they were very supportive, and that's crucial when you're starting out.
And we talk again genesis story, or the beginning of art and creativity. And I find your story to be so unique. Your musical journey really started in Panama, didn't it?
My mom was born in Havana, Cuba. She's American, but her father was there working on behalf of the government, and so she was influenced by that type of music. And then my dad comes from classic country, so when I was a kid, I really liked the diversity of the two styles. So, and my dad was he's a really good songwriter, and when we were kids, a rite of passage was being able to hold your own in these marathon limerick sessions that he'd do, where you'd make it up. He'd start singing something in a rhyme, and then you just keep it going, and you make it up, and then add a verse, and so that's really, I think, when it started. I just loved it.
But I read about you that the first time you ever picked up a guitar, you were located in Panama, right? You stole
I was.
your sister's guitar, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. I stole her guitar. She got it for Christmas, and what was hers was mine, and I took it. So, yeah,
It worked
yeah.
out
And I
okay,
still,
right?
it did. My sister was such a loving and good person. I had a really hard time in Panama because at that time I didn't know that I was seizures, which is some kids have that when they have epilepsy, they get absence seizures. So I had that, but it wasn't diagnosed. But I was special classes in Panama because my teachers were picking up that something wasn't quite right. So an incredibly isolating time for me during our years in Panama. I felt isolated and I felt different, and not in a good way. And my sister saw this, and when I picked up that guitar, it was like, wow, I had this friend that wasn't going to judge me or expect things from my brain that it couldn't do. And my sister picked up on that, and she gave it to me, and it changed my life.
All right, so let's get the story right. Did she give it to you, or did you steal it from her?
Okay, here's the exact story. I flat out took it. Every time she'd leave a room, I would grab it, I would get underneath her bed where she kept it, and I would take it into my room. And then she'd come home, and then she'd catch me. Because when we lived in Panama, that was the only time we didn't share a room. We had our own room when we lived in Panama. And she would catch me playing her guitar. And so finally she had enough of it and just gave it to me
I
out of
love it.
goodwill, and I think out of frustration. I wasn't going to stop.
I love it.
I was
And
hooked.
just so folks out there will know, the reason why you were in Panama is because you were basically an army brat, right? Your dad was in the army,
I
is
was.
that right?
Yeah, he was a combat medic in the 101st Airborne in the war in Korea, and then he would go on to lead troops in Panama. So he was a pretty high up on the on in command when we were in Panama, and he was in charge of a base. But one of the people in charge of Fort Clayton.
So was
Uh,
there a lot more moving around as a kid other than just Panama, or?
no, I mean they really wanted to keep him in specific places because he had some skill sets that they needed. Um, so I know that he did a few combat missions while in not combat, but uh, I know that he did some medic um, jobs while we were in Panama. But when we came back to the States, they wanted him at Fort Sam to lead the troops there, and that's where we stayed, which is really unheard of. And most Army brats
Yeah,
move around a lot. We
yeah,
only did it once.
yeah. So what are some things that you kind of learned from that era of your life that you applied to your musicianship? Do you think?
Not giving up and creating my own little creative world in my head so that when music became a way for me to translate thoughts in a way I could not do verbally. So it gave me time to think before I speak. It gave me time to process what was happening and then put it to music. So because military school is a lot tougher than school. When we moved back to the States, I wasn't put in special classes.
Right.
They gave me the tests. The expectations, I don't want to say lower, they were just different. They were more lax. So but music really helped me. I realized I had something that wasn't going to go away. And that was music.
And so was the allure for songwriting there at a young age, or did that come later?
No, I don't remember not writing. I was making kids' books and drawing. I feel like before I could spell. I just don't remember not writing. And then once I had that guitar, it just. I mean, I work with people on songwriting now a lot, and I just wish I could tell them to love it, to just love the words, love it. It's annoying, it's hard. Some songs take longer than others, but when I was a kid, I was already locked into that. I mean, I don't see a kid right now learning to write out with AI. I see a kid doing what I did. When you when you want to translate your emotions, you have to feel it in a human way, and then turn that into the song. And that's what I was doing when I was a kid.
So just creating your own worlds, essentially. So
Yes,
kind of take you
yes,
away from your reality.
absolutely, absolutely. Because I knew I I had this hum right underneath my skin that I knew that something was neurologically different about the way my brain was composed, and that about the only way that would steady that brain was with the hands of music. That was it, and I subconsciously I knew that, and I never let it go. It came first. It came before track. It came before, it came first. In high school, I had two jobs. I worked at Bell's department store and I worked at Dairy Queen. I just come from a different type of family, different type of work ethic, different type of expectations. If you want a car, you got to pay for it. If you want to go to school, you got to pay for it. So that type of mindset, and I just remember knowing that music was gonna be um, it was gonna be my vessel I had to be the captain, but it was going to be the vessel.
Yeah, but it was settling your chaos, so to speak, right? And
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I find it interesting that you come from a blue collar family and a blue collar mindset. Really, is a better word for it because,
Uh-huh.
I mean, your entire life has been music, and it was because I imagine because it was the thing that settled that chaos, kind of grounded you
Yes.
as a human, made you feel the same in a way, right? But was the support always there from above? Because again, that's a blue collar mindset, and that mindset can sometimes say music is not a real job, right?
You know, Chris, you are asking some of the best questions I have been asked my entire career. That is something I've thought about, and I thought about how lucky I am. As long as I could pay my way, it was my way, and there was no questions asked. There was no support. My parents, and on my entire career, my parents had maybe seen two shows. It's just a different type of mindset. It's not a lack of love.
Right.
It's not a lack of understanding, but it's not classic country. And my parents, if it's not classic country, it's not really music. But hey, this hobby seems to be doing okay. But but they didn't get my way. It wasn't like you can't do this because I'm the one footing the bill. So that's
How much of that do you think was because it was kind of your vessel, right? Like it was it was kind of your way out of the dark. How much of that, from your parents' standpoint, do you think was part of that? Like, let's not stand in her way because this is making her feel normal.
I don't think they thought about it. I don't. I think that my father was on his way to become a command sergeant major in the military, which was really hard, and my mom was helping him. And my sister had left home to join the military, and then my brother had already long since left home. I ended up moving out early, and it's just kind of the way things unfolded. I don't think it was really considered as long as I didn't have to ever ask for money, as long as I didn't have to borrow money.
Yeah, I understand. And see, the reason why I ask these kind of questions, my dad was your dad. My dad was an E9 in the Army, and
Wow.
I was there. I
Uh-huh.
know that mindset and how my dad was so strictly real world, right? Like
Yeah.
it has to be substantial in order for him to really respect it in a way, I guess. And
Yeah.
just so many times over the years of interviewing different people, I hear stories of how music is not considered that substantial thing that you can hold in your hands and kind of ply, and so yeah, I'm always curious how from above that comes down to a artistic person.
Yeah.
You're also a multi-instrumentalist, and I always find this very interesting because I feel like once you become really good at a certain instrument, a lot of times it's guitar or piano for a person, you can rest on your laurels. You can settle for that. You didn't. You've learned so many other instruments. So kind of explain why that is. Why didn't you just stick with one?
I think I'll hear something a song might need, and I also want to break a little bit of the mystery up. I feel like harmonica is definitely a lot more complex than it looks. If you really want to dive into it,
Completely agree.
it's a pretty hard. I find it to be hard, but fun. And what I like about harmonica is that it can sound like a fiddle. It can sound like an accordion.
Yep.
It can be percussive. It can be a fill where you can have some nice fill in a song. So it has a multi-purpose with that instrument. Now with guitar and mandolin and this instrument called the papoose, which is like a guitar tuned a fourth up. I mean, I'm sorry, with a guitar tuned regular, but capoed on the fourth fret. That a high strung guitar, a baritone guitar. They're all the same language. And then I play a little bit of piano, but barely. I mean, just not even just enough to clunk a few chords. So I don't feel like I played that many. I'm interested in learning banjo, and as for why, I just kind of keep hearing some songs that have banjo in it, and I can hear the lyrics and I can hear the part, and I can't play it, and and that's when I know, hey, I've got to learn banjo just to at least be able to do this song.
So it's
So
a
that's how it
creative
happened.
beginning again. You hear something that
Uh-huh.
needs to happen in a
Yeah.
song, and I imagine that can probably be pretty oh man, almost miserable, because like you want to be able to supply that sound because that's how you're hearing it. And I mean, you don't always want to hire out, right? So you might as well do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's another army mindset. Do it yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly right. I never really thought about that before, about how much the do-it-yourself mindset ended up being why I would make some of the decisions I made. Oh,
But I mean, it makes sense looking back, right? Like, just
yeah,
I'm gonna
it
make it
does.
happen, and I'll tell you
Yeah,
what. Like, just listening to your catalog, like those different kind of sounds are so paramount in what you do as an artist, just from song to song. I think it's
yeah,
important to, especially like in a folk kind of sense, because I love folk music, but a lot of those songs can bleed into one another, and you do a really good job of making sure that doesn't happen, and with the different instrumentation and making things sound different. I think that's important, right?
I think so too. Well, for me, I, I just have this crazy fixation with music, and I have a voracious appetite for it, and it's with rap, it's with folk, it's with opera, it's with classical, it's with kids music, it's just across the map. It's impossible to come from that background and then write for me in one genre. I'll hear a song that's it just doesn't stay in the lane. It crosses lanes, and in order to make that work, it needs different clothes. I can't, if I really hear banjo on this part, um, with a good strong kick, then I got to go there. I'm not hearing banjo like bluegrass.
Yeah.
I'm hearing banjo more like the African percussive.
Oh, it's so cool in your vibe. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know exactly what you're saying.
yeah,
Like having those
yeah,
African
yeah.
vibes sometimes with the banjo, like you would never think of that. Let me ask you a question. I don't know why this popped into my head. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. But with
Uh huh.
music kind of being your savior, how much is this voraciousness for the music kind of a repayment for you? Like you feel like you owe the music something.
You know, I feel like um, I feel like it's an addiction that kind of, I mean, tell me why I have to collect every version of Water is Wide that has ever been released.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. I mean, or when an artist I like comes out with a new record, I I get so excited, and I got to get the whole record,
Yeah,
and it's made streaming so hard for me because it messes with my playlists,
yeah.
and then I put everything on my computer, and then iTunes did something to it, and
You
I thought
have
I
the
was
same struggle as me, man.
I
Oh
thought I
my
was going to have to
god.
be hospitalized. I mean, I can't even tell you how how angry and how weirded out I got. And so it's not, I don't feel like I'm paying anything back. It's just that it's a fix, just like alcohol might be for some
Yeah.
people or drugs might be for me. It's purchasing, being like having this library, and I'll start thinking about a part on something if I'm working with somebody else in the studio, and I'll start thinking about a part that might be cool, then I can go back and I can find it in my, as long as my library is not tampered with.
Yeah.
So I still don't have you sound like a music fan, and I still don't have a great solution for what to do with this. I don't, because now I'm starting to see the downloadings going away. That
Yeah.
you can't just download, and you can't just buy the album.
Yep. Things are changing,
So,
man. I saw your post about Wet Leg, and I was so
oh
proud to
yeah,
know you. I was so proud to know you when you posted that. I was
yeah,
like, Man, this is great. I love Wet Legs so much, and
I do too.
yeah,
I think I have a girl crush. I'm serious.
I
want
don't blame you at all.
I want a picture. I've got to get a poster of her and put it up in my music room because the I love the fierceness
Yes.
and they're clever. And also I think their audio is amazing because she's not really a belter, you
No.
know. She's almost got that Suzanne Vega deadpan
Absolutely.
approach. Oh yeah, I think they're just fantastic.
Yeah.
I like everything about them.
I
Everything.
mean, they're exactly the reason why I love this day and age with
Me
algorithms and just
too.
being introduced to the most random
Mm-hmm.
people and artists. And
Mm-hmm.
man, I have to spend at least a few minutes every day, kind of swiping, right, looking for more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. It's kind of like that hit, right? Like when you find somebody like that that you really resonate with, it satiates you in a way, doesn't it?
It does. I'm going to say this. I hope it's okay for me to say this, but I was one of the judges for New Folk with Kerrville. I did it 2 years in a row. I always told myself I would never judge a songwriting contest. Don't do that, and don't judge a baby contest. You're going to lose. You're just going to lose. They are all beautiful, but I had I had felt bored with my own stuff, and I wanted to hear um, I did it for the fix. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and then, and the first year I did it, you could see people's names, and I was like, man, you got to take people's names off that. It should be more of a blind listen. I don't want to be listening to my friends and then having to, you know. And then the next year they did it blind, where it was just numbers, but. I would find somebody, and I found some people I just loved, and I was using Shazam. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta. If I it's like if I don't find out who they are, my life isn't gonna be this. My life will not be as good as it could be. You
Yeah.
know.
And that's
So
why I do this, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I find somebody I like, I want to learn more about them. And what's the best way to learn
Uh-huh.
about them than to ask them directly, right? Like, that's the best
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I do this. You mentioned earlier that you went to school kind of for music. Hardin-Simmons was for opera and classical music. And I found this very interesting when I was reading about you. Because although there are some of those vibes, those classic vibes to your music, I would not have guessed that you studied this. So how do you think this has prepared you for what you ultimately became?
Well, definitely having the tools of have helped with I have a vocal cord disorder, and I'm still able to sing. I do a lot of other things to get ready for a show. I didn't do them today. I wanted just to be able to talk to you and not do 5 million backflips to be able to speak. But having that background and voice with resonance and support from the diaphragm and those type of tools in my toolbox really helped for later on in life when I would have complications. It's all related: the head, the voice, the neurological component. It's all one little family with the same problem. Um, but so that really helped. And then I also feel like having that background helped me to be healthy on the road, to have enough water. I've never smoked, never did overdid caffeine. I've always been pretty careful with how I treat it.
Yeah, and you mentioned your vocal stuff, and I kind of I had a question for this as well earlier, but
Sure.
I feel like the cool thing about these episodes is just finding the right time to ask something in the flow of things, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
now's the time. So
Okay.
just to let folks know, so you do have epilepsy, and as a
Hmm.
result of that, you ended up with something called an essential vocal tremor. And
Yes.
obviously, this affects you. I've seen live performances from before and after, and I mean, it's an obvious effect on your vocal ability. But as somebody who is so tethered to music, this had to be hard for you when this started happening, right?
Oh yeah. It was. I have it's called a Chiari malformation, and it's where the tonsils at the back of the head they sit too low, and they descend uh, past where they should. Basically, my brain is too big at the back, Um, and some people get surgery and they put a shunt in there, but in my case, I'm not in pain. I don't have drop attacks. It's not at that point that I need surgery. But what it did do is it would periodically cause hoarseness, and this was my entire career. But where it really, with me, with this particular malformation, and then I have a little side vessel that's abnormal that's housed right where the malformation is. That created epilepsy because of
Ah,
a lack of blood flow.
yeah.
So that creates epilepsy. And I would have been fine. I would have never had, it would have just been periodic hoarseness, treat it with acupuncture and move on. But in 2020, I I thought, I want to see what's wrong with this because we had a big show coming up at the Paramount, and I was like, I want to see what's up. So January 13th, I went into a clinic in Austin, and the guy was like, we can get you up and singing in no time. You just need Botox, and in the vocal cords. I was like, well, okay, I'll be fine. Yeah, I thought it was like maybe like a steroid shot.
Yeah.
I didn't, I didn't think anything of it, but he did that Botox, and it changed my life. It threw me into a full blown. The tremor was there a little bit, but once the vocal folds relaxed, the tremor was like, "Yay, I'm free!" And that genie was out of the bottle. And then the tremor creates the vocal breaks, and so it went. I had total vocal loss. Spent thousands of dollars. Then the pandemic hit, which you would think that'd be a good time to, but not a good time for anybody ever. That was a very sad time in our country. But it was brutal to have to take everything online where my vocals were under a microscope because nothing is more telling than audio. Nothing. You can hear everything, and it was incredibly hard, um, mentally and spiritually and physically and financially, trying to figure out, man, is this Parkinson's? Is this ALS? Is this what has happened? And then now I know I know what happened, and I know that I'll continue life with an altered voice. It's a lot. It seems to be better now than it was. I do a lot of rehabilitation, but I'm not going to wait for it to sound like who I was before 2020, and I'm just going to sound like who I am in 2025, and just accept it and write for it. And that's what's important, is to write for the voice I have and not for the voice I remember
I love
having.
that
To
so much. That's where I was heading with this. And yeah, because your toolbox changes, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, uh-huh, oh yeah. And that was the hardest part because the I used to improv all the time, and I could just go improv and do it. But with my new voice, it's just different. I have to be really careful where I put vowels and where I put consonants, and because it kind of mimics spasmodic dysphonia.
Hmm.
If a doctor were to hear it, they'd say it's classic spasmodic dysphonia with essential vocal tremor. That's what they would say. But I've been living with it long enough to know that the tremor creates the spasms, and I don't have to have the perfect name on it to be able to manage it and perform with it.
Yeah, and I think, from a songwriting standpoint, I mean, obviously your goal as a songwriter is to make people feel ultimately. And
Yeah.
I think in the delivery of a lyric, being softer is not always like a bad thing. I mean, you just have to, like you said, write differently for it.
Hmm.
But I find myself leaning in more for your songs since the change, and that's
It
not terribly a bad thing, right?
No, no, I don't think so. The What saddens me is that n- I don't. You've talked to enough musicians and play. You're involved in music enough to know about. There's something called chasing carrots, where you're chasing carrots, wanting something that's that you're just willing to do. You're chasing this carrot for something better. I was doing that with medications and seeing every doctor and trying every medication on hand. And in March of this year, I got on stage and my poor brain was like, I'm done. You know, we did, Lloyd and I, it was at Michael Hearn's festival in Bryan. And that was it for me. That was the first time since 1990 that I took a break. And I mean, I canceled every show and I took 6 months and I got off. I'm not on any medications right now. Nothing. That's even for epilepsy. Just that's I'll end up getting back on epilepsy medication, but I wasn't going to get better unless I just completely cleaned my body out. It has been 5 years of propranolol, amitriptyline, Ativan, Klonopin, lamotrigine, Keppra, Vimp. I could go on and on with central nervous system depressants, and I just felt like that in order to live, and I had to stop and just reach a baseline of what normal is. And I've never felt better.
I saw your
You know?
post on that. I saw your post on your social media, and
Yeah.
I made a note. I have a kind of a wish list of folks that I would love to talk to. You've always been on that list since I started in 2017. And when I saw that you were taking a break, I was like, you know, now's probably the time to reach out to Terri and see if she'll do one. And I think sometimes when you're doing something for so long, that's all you know. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and sometimes you just have to step away to miss it, right?
I think so too. To We're only here once,
Yeah.
and I didn't want what I was doing to fix my voice to kill me. And boy, those central nervous system depressants can be dangerous. So not only to stop to miss it, but to also stop to reset. That has made the world a difference. I just kind of rediscovering the artist I am right now at my age at this time. What do I hear? You know, what's the future?
Yeah, and you're so dang prolific too. Like we're talking. I mean, '96 was your first record, and you've done over 20 projects since then. That's more than one a year on average. So, and I mean, you're known for over 20 years of touring as well, a couple hundred shows a year. Eventually, you're going to hit a roadblock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I did. Because I think it's important to always be able to do your job, and I had reached the point in March where I couldn't. So I couldn't doing what I was doing. I can't perform on medications that alter my ability to communicate. So it was like performing on 20 margaritas or something. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So it didn't work.
And so, I mean, what's that phase of your life like? Because that is like music is your love. That's your savior, your everything. That just pulled you from wherever. Like the acceptance of Terri Hendrix. That's what music has been for you. Now that you've stepped away from that for a little while, like how did you handle that?
You know, it's it has been really hard because at the same time, my mother has a really exaggerated version of something of similar to what I have. And so she is actually pretty much confined to a chair or needs a wheelchair. And then my dad has had a lot of heart problems. He's 93. So it has been a whammy. You know, it's just there's not a family unit there to help, and so it's me doing it and with them, and then dealing with the voice, and then, but here is something I know, and I know that that we have our challenges, and that when life hits us hard, like it could hit me hard. I had to make choices. What am I going to do? Because if I continue doing what I'm doing, it could kill me. I need to change that. The only thing I can control is what I put in my ears. So I limit negativity. I limit the news. I stay current, but I'm able to separate what's toxic and what's not. And I had to really clean up friendships. I had to really clean up my body. I had to really, I've lost almost 20 pounds. I had to really just take every aspect and fine tune it to be able to get through it so that I'm strong, so that I can lift my mom. If she needs a bath, I can bathe her. If that I have to be strong physically and I have to be strong mentally because I have a long life ahead of me, and I'm not going to fold up and I'm not going to roll into a ball and quit.
Yeah, it's that internal audit, right? You have to do that. You have to take stock of.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But some days it's okay to not get out of bed. I kept thinking,
Absolutely.
no, damn it, get yourself up, and no. There are days I would wake up, go sit in my chair, and put on Netflix. and
Fighting yourself mentally the whole time. I know exactly how it is.
Yeah. So
Like you have to tell those voices, like, no, this is where I am today. Deal with it. Like
that's exactly right.
This is Terri Hendrix today, and if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but this is the way we are doing this today. It is Netflix and hot chocolate and
exactly right.
You
exactly
can just
right.
go away. We will be productive again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I've also been working on a book that I started back in 2003 about the neurology and epilepsy and medications, and that's going to come out on Texas A&M Press. I'm on deadline. I was supposed to have it in on the 30th, but then my dad had a heart attack, and so it's these roadblocks.
Yep.
But he's still here. He's still with us.
Well, I was telling you, my mom was going through something similar. My mom literally just had a bypass.
Oh wow!
Like 3 weeks ago. She just came home yesterday from it. So.
Oh, thank goodness she's okay.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. But yeah, so
they caught it. They caught it.
They sure did. And but she's home and she's doing better. We've been taking care of her, my wife and I, for a while, and so yeah, I know where you're at. It's tough because you take care of everybody below you, and then later in life you're taking care of everybody above you.
Yeah.
And because of that, you never really get to take care of yourself the right way, right?
I mean, that's exactly right. And it's finding out what you need to do that. It's like I call it catching the umbrella between the raindrops. Just where's that umbrella? And I might just have 5 minutes, but what's something joyful I can do? Or I found some music. I'll have to turn you. You will have to make each other some lists.
Yeah.
But I found some great songs to that just kind of get me in a better place.
Yeah. You got to have your joyful music, right? The ones that as soon
Absolutely.
as you hear that vocal, you got a smile on your face. You got to have
yeah.
those. So I got 3 names for you, and
Okay.
this is kind of a new thing I want to try with you. I'm just going to give you a name, and it's going to be a name of a person that I know has impacted you musically and probably in a life sense as well. And you just tell me whatever comes to mind about that person, okay?
Got it.
All right, first name is Kent Finlay.
Songwriter, mentor, quiet, never rambled, talked with intention and purpose, respected songwriters, kept the place quiet when people were doing their songs, influential, articulate, and focused.
Okay. Next name, Marion Williamson.
Now, she's not the woman that ran for president. This is a different one.
That's right.
But Marion, I worked for her. She was my guitar teacher. She, by milking her goats, she gave me free guitar lessons and taught me how to finger pick. Mississippi John Hurt, Lightning Hopkins, really got me started off on that journey, which is important. She really drilled it into my head that in order to support myself musically, I was going to have to be able to play that guitar better. And let's see, autism. She autism, Asperger's. She was very different. It was really hard to work for her, but I loved her, and she was great, just a great human. And then grief, because she passed, and it was a really tough when she did.
All right, next one, Lloyd Maines.
I wouldn't have a career, I don't think, without him. I met him at just the perfect time. I don't know. I just got lucky. I got really lucky. I'd come out with $2 shoes, and I just played. I played everywhere. I don't think. I mean, I can say this. I don't know if anybody played more than I did. I would play 2 or 3 times. I mean, nothing was off limits. I would drive from San Angelo to Big Bend National Park and drive all night to San Antonio, and then go play an evening show on the same area, like around. There was a strip in San Antonio where Tycoon Flats was, and the Crazy Horse Saloon. I'd play that. I would do Let's Load In at 11 and then play till 2. I mean, if I could, I played. And so by the time $2 Shoes came out in 1996, I'd already had a mailing list that was all over Texas. Mailing list, not email list. And so by the time the summer ended, I'd already made a lot of money off of sales of that record, and then had met Lloyd, and I didn't really know who he was. I didn't. I was working with management at the time that wanted me to go in a direction that I didn't want to go, and they had introduced me to Lloyd, and so I just called him up and I said, hey, I just didn't want to get ripped off because I had my money saved. And I said, I just need to work with someone honest, and here's my budget, and I cannot spend one penny over that. And then he listened to a demo tape and said he would work with me. And what makes it lucky is we start working together, and then he appreciated my work ethic. And then by the time Wilory Farm came out, there was this booming independent record label, and that he could see that, hey, there's this opportunity here. If we don't, here it goes. If we don't have management, if we don't have a publishing company, if we administer publishing, and if we own the masters to the recordings, and I have to be really careful with booking agents, since I'd had so many years of booking everything myself. Who's going to be able to book us better than I could? Because we had to watch every penny to really make the type of profit that we wanted. So that's that. So when you say Lloyd, I think of me being lucky. I think of me making my luck. I think of him coming on board as a business partner. And then so that's business. And then on the other side of that, I think of him as family, someone that always has my back, him and Tina. Someone that him and his wife have been with me in sickness and in health. This personal level of love, of family unit, that's love. And then I see this person that's probably one of the best musicians in in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that has just had such a mark, a stamp on Americana music, not just in Texas, but it spread out. Without a Lloyd Maines at the wheel, I just don't. I think music would sound very different, because he has had a way of creating calm in the studio. He could take creative energy and harness that, and then really get a good album out of it. He's able to condense creativity, creative fire, and then turn that into a recorded project. And his funkiness, um, his love of music. He's just as all over the map as I am when it comes to music. He doesn't buy like I buy, and he tends to go to the comfort zone music of bluegrass and things like that. But he really likes my playlist. He likes my music library, and to dive in there and see what I've come up with lately. So I could talk about Lloyd on and on. He's very humble in a lot of ways about his past and humble about his future. He and that worries me because I don't want anybody else taking that throne, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I'll fight for
absolutely.
I'll
Yeah.
fight for the throne. So I put the website together for him,
Well, I think he's
and
an icon, and
I do too.
yeah, I think he's
I
an
do too.
icon, and yeah, I understand as a fan and a friend and a family member of a person, wanting that person to own that, right? Like, just
Mhm.
you don't have to be humble. Look at this body of work that you have, and you should own it, and you should understand that you are a legend, and you deserve those kind of praises. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And had he not worked with me, um, I just don't. I think things that they would have gone fantastic. But the way we work together, a lot of the stuff like art of removing wallpaper, it's about time, or our kids record, we ended up with I hate the word hit, but we had a hit with this song called Nerves. Uh, it was it's like this kid song that it'll go away and that comes right back and ends up on the top 10 again. It just never, and that was from 2005 to now. And that song was with with me being irritated at him. I'm in the studio and I just start making it up. And he came up with this guitar part, and you could, if I were you, I would, and I start singing this song about getting on my nerves. And that ends up being this kid song. And there's no way I could create with anybody but Lloyd with that. That just to be able to make something up and him be able to match what I'm hearing on an instrument is magic.
It just sounds. I love how you say the word lucky because it would
Uh
seem
huh.
to me like that's almost an understatement because of how eclectic you are musically within your own brain. Finding somebody else that's gonna kind of mold that for you is just probably unheard of.
I think so too.
You know, because I mean,
Yeah.
your standpoint and the freedom you have in your art is so unique. So to find somebody else that is the same way is incredibly lucky. I mean, just once in a
I feel
lifetime,
like
I
that
would
too.
say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could see working with someone and them saying, "Hey, put a lid on that. That doesn't make sense."
Yeah,
That's and Lloyd doesn't do that. He's like, "Hey, do that again. Maybe let's try sitar."
yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? Just like he has my favorite story working with Lloyd is we were playing at Folk Alliance at this it was a huge music conference. We had a showcase and we start playing Lions. I found the Lions and we kick into that and it gets to the rap part. And this guy that was like, I kid you not, 3 seats from the front, dead center, he jumps up and he slaps his programs. I didn't come to hear a rock show. And he gets up and he walks out. And I look at Lloyd and it's like, we have arrived.
Let's go. That's awesome stuff. So one thing I wanted to chat with you about is Wilory, your label, Wilory Records, and
Uh-huh.
I love you so much for this. 20 years, over 20 years that you've had the record label, and just completely run by you. This is an indie label. You've
Uh-huh.
always created your own stuff. You've always had that freedom as an artist. How important was it to you, and still important to you, to remain free of and being dependent on a label or a team?
And now more than ever, because, with licensing and sync, I turned my book in December, and then come January, I'm going to work on Lloyd's website, and I'm also going to work on our catalog and continue to own it. My label actually turns 30 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 next year, and with that, we're going to have a retrospective compilation come out where
Congratulations.
I'm so thank you.
Yeah.
Where all of our songs, it's a 102 song compilation, is going to come out. It's been remastered, so it's ready, and that'll come out with out all at once, to get out there to where the volume is better, and then I'm slowly gonna pull the individual albums off, and then the new songs are on. So it's going to take some time for the transition. It's just that I've noticed like Places in Between came out in 2000, and so when I hear that, it's in the levels seem just a little bit lower than they should be. Even though Spotify and iTunes, they try to match it, I still kind of notice a difference. So that's going to happen, and then what I like is I don't have to get permission from anyone, and I don't, I don't have to jump through hoops. Now the negative part is, how am I going to get press? And how are people going to find out about it?
Yeah.
Homegirl here isn't spending $15,000 on a publicist. I'm not going to spend more money on that publicist than I did the musicians that played on my albums. So I'm just not. I mean, I feel like part of the industry has to realize that, and by streaming, how would I ever pay off a $15,000 publicist? And also, I'm not. I don't know about what I'm doing with touring. I know I am when the book comes out, and I want to tour with this project, but I can't have a booking agent booking me 4 nights in a row with this brain. If I can tour smart, I can be smart about my future, or I can be stupid and then end up right back in March 2025, unable to do my job. So I'm gonna have to be really careful what I do, and I'm proud of my record label, and I'm proud of the fact that I'll find a way to get it out there some way different. I feel like as artists, there's this mold that gets created, that like a one size fits all for when it comes to promotion. I think it's time to just see the industry for what it is. It's in flux, and create our own universe. Look at who we are. Find our strengths. For me personally, what's my strength, and how can I amplify that strength? That would then give my label publicity and push my compilation project up. These are the things that I think about now, and I'm very proud that going into 2026, it's 30th year that I haven't caved in yet, that I haven't let fear, or I can't, or the overwhelm from my parents. I mean, I was thinking, just get somebody to do it, get a loan, just give it away, get it off your back.
That's not the mindset that we were born with, though, Terry.
No,
It's do it
I know.
yourself.
I know. That's the army way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And
I got to tell you, I'm just so unbelievably happy for you that you still have this passion for what you do, the passion for your hit, for that addiction that is music, and
Yeah.
because it's so easy for that to erode over the years, right? And I'm just so happy that you still have that, and it's just so paramount in your life still.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Um, Last thing I wanted to chat with you about that I know is, well, one of the last things that I know is so important to you is your charity, which is called Own Your Own Universe. This is a 501c or whatever it is, and I want you to kind of explain why you started this and what its purpose is.
Okay. Let's see. It was a long, gosh, maybe like, man, like, or I want to say 2000, 2003, 2000, around there, 2000. I'd already been having trouble with epilepsy because that's when things kind of came to a head with it. And we were playing at a venue, and we were doing sound check. It was before the show, and this couple had come in with their son, and he was in a wheelchair, and he started to sing at the top of his lungs to every song we were playing during sound check. So like you've hit this house, he is just head back and moaning because he's nonverbal. So he's
Right.
moaning loud. And the owner went up to them, and I saw her talk to them. And then I went back to our sound check, and then I looked, and they weren't there. And I set my guitar down, and I went outside, and I saw this family struggling to get their son over these rocks in the wheelchair. They were struggling, and they were headed back to their van. I said, "Where are you going?" And they said, "Oh, we were asked to leave. This is a listening room." And I said, "Hey," I said, "if you leave, I leave. You can't leave. So we're going back in there, and we're going to have a come to Jesus moment with the owner." And that's what happened. And so they came back in, and that was the final straw for me. I just something snapped. And so then in this typical magical thing that has happened in my life, I met this man that has a variation of what I have, and we became friends. And he was best friends with this guy that runs nonprofits. That was a lawyer for nonprofits, and I created Own Your Own Universe with his help, with the mission of transforming lives through music and the creative arts, so that the organization, I do songwriting workshops for verbal and nonverbal individuals with special needs, and then it culminates in a concert. You can write a song with somebody that can't talk. It's amazing that what can happen. Uh, it's verbal and nonverbal choirs that with the concert. I also work with kids. Um, I really love to work with kids that struggle with dyslexia or epilepsy or autism, hyperactivity, don't fit in, get bullied. We also have art classes. I bought 12 acres. I own it, not the nonprofit, because I didn't want my property to get. I just own the place, and a nonprofit here so that we're not having to fundraise for overhead. And so it turns 14 on December 19th,
Wow.
and it just it runs. It barely runs, but it runs. I mean, I'm not good at writing grants. It's like I'm horrible at it, but
Yeah.
but it runs. I mean, we were able to do our programs, and it stayed. It's ownyourownuniverse.org, and we stay really, really busy. We stayed busy with it.
I'm going to put a link in the description for that. I have two sons that are autistic.
You do. Well, I would love, but we actually have online programs too, that are all over now with programs that we are doing.
Well, I got to tell you a story. When I was a little younger, my son, who's, gosh, he's 25 now, or about to be 25, I used to coach his little league team, and it just so happened that I was kind of a last minute coach, and I ended up with all the disabled kids on my team because the other coaches didn't want them, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the kids on the team was a nonverbal autistic kid named Austin, and just changed. This kid changed my life. Just kind of the same kind of moment that you had at that venue. And by the end of the season, he was talking, and the first words he ever said was, "I'm late, coach."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Now, is that is one of life's magical moments.
absolutely. And so
Uh-huh.
every time I see him, even to this day, he still says, "I'm late, coach." First thing he says to me, I'm late, coach." So
I love that story.
yeah,
I love
so
that story,
thank you for
Chris.
what you do there. And the other thing I want to thank you for, I have four daughters. I have two biological daughters, and I have two I have a stepdaughter and a daughter-in-law, and they're all my daughters. But you're in the Women's Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. And I just wanted to thank you for the reasons why you are in the Women's Hall of Fame and being such a voice for women's rights and just the things you do over the years. I bet you that's probably the big one for you, right? Like, you've won a Grammy and you've done all this other stuff musically, but like being recognized as a woman was probably the biggest thing, right?
You know, honestly, the biggest thing is having a conversation like what we've had today and getting a story that what you just said about that kid, like coach, that's the biggest thing is you you were able to communicate with him because you have two sons that you communicate with. The autism brain is different, and and you were able to open him up and change his life. And to me, that's what music does. So the biggest thing for me has been having the opportunity to meet people like yourself uh, that are on this journey, and somehow music uh, gives that journey an engine and fuel to continue and actually to change lives by sticking to the mission of music and the real reason why we write in the first place. There's a reason, and remembering that reason is bigger than ourselves. And so, to me, and being recognized is a tremendous. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for those opportunities I've been given. But I have to say that the having the gift and the seed of music in my life to see me through both the good and bad times is something that I've supersedes anything else.
Well, I think as human beings, when we find something good and we know it's good for us, we tend to keep that under wraps. We don't share it with people. I think that's a natural inclination of ours. You find something good, you keep it to yourself. A good fishing spot, a good pizza joint, right? Like, you don't want to give that away. With you found music, and that was your harbor, your safe harbor. And I feel like our natural inclination is to not share that, and you just repeatedly share it with others because I think subconsciously you know that it can be somebody else's safe harbor too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I mean, again, I think that's not normal. That's not organic. Again, I think we're very likely to just keep it to ourselves. Humans are selfish, so awesome job with that stuff. We do have some fun segments we do, but I wanted to chat a little bit about Lil Jack Slade, which is the song that you won a Grammy with. Tell us about this song and how it came to be.
Well, Lloyd's wife, excuse me, um, ended up to see Natalie McMaster at a theater in Austin. She's a Canadian fiddle player. And Tina asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, "Yeah, I'll go." And so we saw her, and it was an amazing show. I was completely blown away by it. So I come home and I write an instrumental on fiddle. I don't play fiddle, but I hear the fiddle part. I hear the fiddle part, and I have this instrumental. And then it was right at the time that we were working on Places in Between, or maybe The Ring, something. It was like that time period. And I said, "Hey, Lloyd, I've got this instrumental." So Lloyd starts messing with that instrumental, and we have it, and it almost gets done. And then and I could not get lyrics to it. It was I actually found the lyrics to it, uh, and I also had that Eric Johnson Cliffs of Dover in my head
Yeah.
with it. So, and I was having a hard time uh, with that in my head, and then the fiddle. It was a mess. But Lloyd took that, and because the chicks wanted an instrumental that would feature Marty on fiddle and Emily on banjo. Natalie could just play guitar, but I think they wanted an instrumental to feature their musicianship and take a break from vocals.
Yeah.
And so they had tried different instrumentals and nothing was working. And then Lloyd brought that and they messed around with it and then they ended up recording it. And then it ends up on the record. And then that record gets the Grammy. And then there you go. And I have a fourth of the song. So it was a life changer because when all that went down, I wouldn't know. Like we were at the Grammys, February 2003, and then August 2003, there would be that problem with Natalie that was blown out of proportion.
Yep.
And then by October 2003, I would have a seizure that really it almost killed me. It was just had hadn't diagnosed what was exactly wrong yet, and then after that we had a bunch of medical bills, but luckily I was able to recoup because we had the blessings of that song. So
I can't even imagine
it's
writing
been-
a fiddle part, not being a fiddle
Yeah.
player. That is just so impressive to me.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I just kind of hear them sometime, but never bluegrass. I never come up with anything bluegrass. It's never. I think because the licks are too fast. I
Yeah.
always come up with that kind of the more long bow
Yeah.
or kind of like more funky style.
Awesome stuff. All right, we're going to do our having fun segments. I got about 8 segments.
Okay, let's do it.
We turn these into reels and shorts and things.
Okay.
Everybody loves these segments, both the artists and the viewers out there. Now, some of these I'm going to give you the choice between 2 different titles, and you can try to
Okay.
figure out what the segment is based on the title. Okay, it's fun.
Okay.
So the first one, choose either Did You Know or choose Algorithm.
Did you know?
So what is something people may not know about you?
I like queso. A lot. Yeah.
Queso. Oh my God, that's great. All right, next segment's
I
called
love it.
Impactful. Now, we did mention 3 names earlier, but now you get to choose 3 people that impacted your life in some way. And then tell us the number one thing you learned from each of those people.
Okay. Terri Hendrix, my sister. She passed in 2018, but she taught me love. And Lloyd Maines has taught me loyalty and sticking by people that you care about. And then the third person would be, let me see, who's the third person? Would be my dad, Jim Hendrix, that has taught me a work ethic.
Nice, awesome stuff. All right, next segment, choose either Mount Rushmore or choose one artist.
Ella Fitzgerald.
No, choose one of those segments. One's called Mount Rushmore, one's called one artist.
Okay. Okay. Artist.
Okay, so who is one artist or songwriter that you wish the entire world knew about?
An artist or songwriter. Let me think. Al Barlow. I just loved him so much. Just funny. He just made life better. Knowing Al Barlow made your life better. And nobody wrote songs like him. He passed away this year, but just he's in his own category. Al Barlow.
Yeah, we lost him and Todd Snyder in the same year from that run that you started in.
Yeah.
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 Just tough times, man, to be a fan.
I know. It
right.
is.
Next segment is called What the Heck? This is a game show style segment where I'm just going to ask you 5 random questions and just tell me the first thing you think of, okay?
Okay.
All right, first one. You're alive in the 1920s and you run into a time traveler with a smartphone, and a Nickelback ringtone comes on. What's your reaction?
Great. Just, I'm gonna dance. I'm just, I'm happy. You know?
It's music,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
number two. If a cow laughs too hard, do you think milk comes out of their nose?
I know it doesn't, just because I'm around them so much. And I mean, I am up there. I mean, I just I love their lips and they love their nostrils. So I've never seen that happen. You know, I've never seen them. I think they laugh, but they've about turned me into a vegetarian.
Well,
And
I mean, if
work-
if your cows are not laughing, Terry, then you need to work on your jokes.
That's exactly, yes,
right.
yeah. You know, I need to just get in the right mood.
There it is. There it is. All right, number three. How long do you wait after finishing your food before going back for seconds?
I don't finish the food. I just go back for seconds. I can be a pig.
Just pile the
so-
plate the first time, right?
I know I pile the plate the first time, don't finish it all, and then go back to the seconds
There you go.
before I finish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That golden corral
I-
mindset, right? Just
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
all right. Number four. Have you ever tripped on stage, and if so, how did you play it off as cool?
I have made so many mistakes on stage. We're playing another showcase, and no artist had trouble with this, but I fell in between a slat. You know how they have the stage built, and they hadn't shoved them completely solid in between them and didn't put a rug in. My foot found that slat, and I went down. And I just jumped back up. And you remember Saturday Night Live? I forget the woman that did Superstar, where she went and then sniffed her own teeth. That's exactly
Mary
what I did.
Catherine. Yes. Yes.
I did a Mary Catherine.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
so
laughed.
funny. My ex-wife used to dress up as her on Halloween, and she'd
Oh,
do the whole
funny.
thing with the tree, you know, put her legs around the tree and all that stuff.
Oh, that's hysterical. That's hysterical.
Yeah. All right, next one, last one of what the heck. If you could spend 1 hour with anyone from the past, who would it be, and what would you talk about?
Are they alive?
Could be anybody from the past. So, yeah, I would suppose they could be alive.
Okay. I would like to talk to Chris Christopherson and or Sonny Curtis. I met both, and I like them so much. But I would just like to say thank you for their
Yeah.
art and talk about with Chris Christopherson. I would talk about Darby's Castle, and with Sonny Curtis, I would love to hear his story about the Mary Tyler Moore Show again. I just thought that was such a fascinating story, and I would just like to talk to them both.
Awesome stuff. All right, next segment. Choose either bucket list or choose fly on the wall.
Okay. Oh, I like both of these. Those are great topics. Fly on the wall.
All right, so in all of history, which room would you like to have been a fly on the wall in?
Thinking all of history. I would like to. Oh gosh, I don't want to take too long, but I like this topic so much. These are great song prompts, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to steal these.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay, when they were writing the Constitution, I think would it not be cool to be a fly on the wall, and and listen to what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
No, that's
when
a,
they were
good-
writing
that's
the
a good one.
Constitution.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been in any of those rooms back then when they were kind of
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to decide, what was going to be and what wasn't going to be. Because obviously some of the things they chose to keep kind of makes us mad, right, today. And
Yeah.
it ended up being almost the death of this country. So
Yeah.
glad we
Yeah.
survived all that. Anyway, next segment, choose either biggest lesson or choose moment of gravity.
Moment of Gravity.
All right, so Moment of Gravity is a really cool one. It's a retrospective thing where you can kind of see that moment in time or event that happened that led you on the path to where you ended up today. Can you kind of see what that was for you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Well, three different times. It was when I asked Marion if she would be my guitar teacher, and and help me to become a better guitar player to so I could support myself with music. And then it was when I asked Lloyd if he would come on board as a business partner. And then March of this year, just saying I got to stop a while, and that was that was a really big choice,
Yeah.
big decision. So yeah, those three things.
Yeah, I would say that third one was monumentous because, like,
Yeah,
essentially music is all you've ever known. It's like quitting your love, right? Just
yeah.
it's like that's
Oh,
tough
oh
as
yeah.
hell, I can imagine. All right, next segment is called Grateful. What are the three things you think you're most grateful for?
I'm grateful for my friends. I mean, I have some really good friends, and that also help with the nonprofit. They're just solid, good people, great hearts. I'm grateful for Lloyd and Tina and his family, and I am grateful for my career and my fan base and the opportunities I've been given because of that.
Awesome stuff. And I have one last segment. Could be the hardest one for you to answer today, though. This
Okay.
segment is called "Who Do You Think You Are?" So, who is
Okay.
Terri Hendrix?
That's interesting. I'm on the end of the book, and the last uh, chapter in the book is called "Who is Anne?" and that's my middle name, Terry Ann Hendrix. And um, so I feel like I'm a human, flawed. Uh, I'm creative, a little eccentric, fun. I can be grouchy. Uh, I can be funny, and but most of all, I know I'm kind. I'm a kind person. That's sometimes a detriment, but I feel like that's my thing I'm most proud of is that I have a kind heart, and I'm proud of that, and I protect it because I think it's important. To Kindness is important, being empathetic is important, and caring about people. So I feel like I'm lucky to have my neurological challenges because I can speak the same language of the people that I have most fun working with are the verbal and nonverbal students because my brain knows what it's like, and so I feel like it lets me be able to talk in a language other people might not be able to, and I feel like that's become a gift, and that's who I am, and I wish I had more time. I'm coming in. I turn 58 next year, and I just really hope that I have the I hope my body is healthy enough um to let me have more time to do what I love. I just feel like the road got fractured a little bit, and there's some things I want to do, and really hope I'm able to.
I think as we get older, that currency of time, I think we learn how to spend it better, don't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have decisions to make. You know, big ones coming down the pipeline, and I hope to make the right ones. But I think nothing was better about getting to know myself than not taking a whole year and traveling all the time and meeting myself coming and going, stopping. I feel like I now know things I didn't know before.
Yeah, and that comes with experience as well. Just being able to recognize the good things in life, and really the
Hmm.
toxic things in life too, and knowing the difference, right? Because sometimes the
Yeah.
toxicity can be what you think is good for you, and it's knowing the difference is really important, I think.
Yeah. I want to tell you something. Also looking at ego and what the ego is as an artist. I went and saw, I made it a point to go see music this year. And so I was at a show, and then after the show, I was gathering my things, and these two people were talking, and I was getting up, and they were talking, and then they were like, "Yeah, like it was like the way they were using the capo," and then the guy started to talk with me, and then they're like, "Well, a capo, you put it on the second fret, and
Yeah.
it can change." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, I was listening, and I was like, "Well." You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's
Trying to
like
mansplain a capo to Terri Hendrix. What the
I
hell?
was like, oh man, it was weird, but it was something also cool about it too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that because I took that time off, I get in positions where I do I even know how to do this? Do I really?
Yeah.
What is a cape? What is a capo, man? What's a capo?
Oh my gosh, it's so great. So you do have a new book coming out. Do you know when that's going to happen?
I have to get it in this month, and then it will come out. This is way ways, but it'll come out either late 2026, like in the fall, or it will come out in the springtime of 2027.
And is this going to be autobiographical?
Yeah, it's a memoir.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because you do have another book, right? What was that about? Cry Till You Laugh, the part that ain't art.
Well, right in the middle was running your own label, and the other chapters in that book were based on newsletters that I did for a long time. So they were just like little essays from our travels. And I'm going to re-release that book with the compilation coming up real soon.
I love that so much. And do we have new music on the horizon as well?
I do. I want to finish this book and then dive into the music. The music is going to take some time because I have to really see vocally what I can do.
Right.
I've relearned how to sing all my songs. It's just that what are new songs. That's where it's interesting.
And you have the huge
So
anthology that's coming soon too, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, just
Yeah.
uber busy, just staying busy, right? Even with the time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff. So I got to let you guys know where to follow with Terri. She has one of the best websites I've ever seen. It's terrihendrix.com. I mean, you guys just fall into that. There's so much stuff to check out here, from her tour dates, her obviously her the charity and live from Wilory Farm. She's got a Patreon that you guys can join to help out with her different things, and the discographies here. She's got videos, all kinds of stuff on the website. The social medias, her Facebook is at Terri Hendrix. Instagram is the same, at Terri Hendrix. She also uses Threads, which I'm hugely proud of her for that. I love Threads. And her YouTube is at Terri Hendrix Official. So just add official to the end of it, and you'll find all of her stuff just about on her YouTube, and that includes all of those albums from over the years. If you could tell people the best way to support you as an artist, what would you say?
I think the best way to support me as an artist would just be to go to my website and then just decide, do you want to support my music, or do you want to be a part of the nonprofit? And then you just kind of pick. The nonprofit supports the nonprofit, and then the music supports me. So either one.
Well, Terri, I appreciate you doing this with me today so much.
Hey,
I'm a
listen,
huge fan of yours, and not only as a musician and an artist, but as a human as well.
well, Chris, likewise, this has been a really nice conversation, and I want to thank your listeners for listening, and also for giving you an avenue to do your show. I so appreciated being a part of this, and and your questions were heartfelt and sincere, and you're just a good egg.
Hey, y'all, this is Kinsey Coppin. Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.